Welcome back, my friends, to Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours. That's right, Death Tours. Changing the name back to my original name. And I want to apologize for not putting a video up for 4 months. A lot's been going on in my life, partially due to the COVID lockdown here in Arizona. It has really kind of played with my mind a little bit, just like it does with a lot of people's around the country. So I apologize for not posting. I'm going to get back on at least a weekly basis, posting videos. In 10 days, I am going to Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington, to some very historic graves, and going to be going to other attractions also, and I'm going to be doing videos on all those attractions, posting them right here on my YouTube channel, Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours. Today, we're going to take a look at a man named Barton MacLane, who was one of the stars of I Dream of Jeannie, the 60s television comedy show with Barbara Eden and Larry Hagman, and he played General Martin Peterson. So please stay with me, my friends, and welcome back to Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours. Hello, my friends, with Big Bill Anderson's Life Tours. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here at a very noisy cemetery. I'm here in North Hollywood at Valhalla Memorial Park, right near Burbank Airport, which is just out that way. So there's planes and helicopters taking off all around here. But I'm here today to pay my respects to a great actor that appeared in one of my favorite TV shows, comedy shows from the 60s, I Dream of Jeannie, starring Barbara Eden and Larry Hagman. And this gentleman played General Peterson. And the man I'm speaking of is Mr. Barton MacLane, laid to rest right here. And I'm going to tell you more about Mr. MacLane's life story. He was in so many great movies. He starred in Treasure of the Sierra Madre with Humphrey Bogart. He was in literally over 100 movies and appeared in many television shows during his illustrious career, all the way from the 1920s in the silent film era, all the way to when he died in the 60s. And as General Peterson on I Dream of Jeannie. So I'm going to tell you all about the life story of Barton MacLane. He's also in a series of movies with the beautiful Glenda Farrell from the 1930s. They were the Torchy Blane movies, where he played a captain of the police department and she played a reporter, and they were always getting in all kinds of arguments and fights and this and that. But it was a great series of movies with Barton MacLane always playing the tough guy. No nonsense, very rarely smiled, but you had to love the guy. He was a great, great, great actor. So Mr. Barton MacLane, we're going to talk a bit about your life. And my friends, thank you for coming along with me on this ride for Big Bill Anderson's Life Tours for Mr. Barton MacLane. Barton MacLane was one of filmdom's most hard-boiled character players. Born in Columbia, South Carolina, he was a football star at Wesleyan University and got hooked on acting when he landed a bit part in the Richard Dix comedy The Quarterback in 1926. After further study at the Academy of Dramatic Arts, he made his Broadway debut in 1927 and then alternated between the stage and small roles in Paramount films shot in New York's Astoria studios. In 1935, he went to Hollywood under contract to Warner Brothers. MacLane's performance as the savage gang leader Brad Collins in G-Men in 1935 established him as a leading screen heavy. With his gorilla-like frame, piercing eyes, and sandpapery snarls of a voice, he was usually cast as a gangster or Western outlaw, and when playing tough guys, he projected the same air of menace he brought to his villains. He was the surly cop who slugged Humphrey Bogart in The Maltese Falcon in 1941. Bogart returned the favor with interest in The Treasure of the Sierra Madre in 1948, beating MacLane's crooked businessmen to a pulp in the cantina scene. In a lighter vein, he also played Glenda Farrell's nemesis / love interest in the Torchy Blane miniseries of the late 30s. These were some of my favorite movies. In all, they were 7 movies that Farrell and MacLane starred in together, and their chemistry on set and in the movies was just wonderful to watch. Glenda Farrell is such a beautiful woman, and Barton MacLane playing the rough, gruff cop, and their chemistry together, like I said, was just tremendous. Among his other films are The Coconuts in 1929 with the Marx Brothers, Tilly and Gus, 1933, Bullets or Ballots in 1936, You Only Live Once, 1937, Mutiny in the Big House in 1939, High Sierra in 1941, Western Union, 1939, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in 1941, Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye in 1950, Hell's Outpost in 1954, and Pocketful of Miracles in 1961. These are but just a few of his over 125 films that he starred in. From the mid-50s, MacLane was active primarily in television, and from 1965 until his death, he had a recurring role as General Martin Peterson in 35 episodes of the hit series I Dream of Jeannie. 3 of those episodes aired after his death. Barton MacLane died of double pneumonia at age 66 on New Year's Day, 1969 at St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, California. He had been admitted 2 weeks prior to his death, and MacLane was buried here at Valhalla Memorial Park Cemetery. For his contributions to the television industry, MacLane is a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 6719 Hollywood Boulevard. I also want to mention that the man responsible for me even finding Barton MacLane's grave was a man named Steve with Memory Lane Trips with Steve. That's his YouTube name, Memory Lane Trips with Steve. He has one of the greatest YouTube channels. I would advise everyone to please subscribe to Steve. He's a great guy. We did a video together at Waylon Jennings' grave about a year ago, and Steve is a wonderful person, and he's very good at what he does, and he likes to visit cemeteries just like I do. And Steve was the one that was able to find this marker here for Barton MacLane, and his wife, Barton's wife, Charlotte Winters, is buried right next to him, and I will show a picture of her. She was a Hollywood actress at great length too, and her and Barton were married for several years up until his death. And so I want to thank Steve for locating this grave. I went out at Valhalla Cemetery once with my son and his girlfriend Holly, and we literally spent 3 hours looking for this grave in a completely the wrong section, and we could not find it, of course. And it was my friend Steve that was able to locate it and document it for me to be able to locate. So thank you, Steve, with Memory Lane Trips with Steve. And my friends, thank you for coming along with me on this journey. Wanted to take a quick look at this man, Barton MacLane, his life. He was a great, great actor and with many films with the legends of Hollywood, including James Cagney and Humphrey Bogart and the Marx Brothers and W.C. Fields and so many other great, great actors. So I wanted to pay tribute to this man today. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. I'm going to have some great videos coming. I'm going to be paying particular attention to some locations in the Pacific Northwest in the near future here. So stay with me, my friends, on some future journeys with Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours, as it will be officially known from this point on. Thank you again, my friends, and adios.